Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. This is Michael Menino, and welcome to Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, and how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful island of St. Petersburg, Florida, we have Steve Spiro, right?
Yes, I'm happy to be here, Michael.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing your experiences. Steve, do me a favor. Tell everybody where you're at and how you got to where you're at. You said some interesting stuff off camera, so.
Yeah, so I'm originally from New York City. Every once in a while, my accent still comes out. Half of my career was with big multinationals, General Electric and Motorola, mostly Motorola in Florida, in Plantation and Boynton Beach. And much of my career with Motorola was overseas in Tokyo and China, developing international markets. And then this thing called the internet started in 1995. And I was fortunate enough to join a company with a friend of mine called Audible. It was the craziest idea at the time. We wound up selling it to Amazon for $300 million. So that turned out to be a good gamble in my life.
That is a good gamble. I use Audible all the time. I like buying the books on there and reading them. It's not reading them, but having them read to me. That's the best thing in the planet because you can get so much more done. You know?
Yeah, no, it's funny when we were sitting around the kitchen table actually coming up with the idea. It was all about keeping your mind active and information coming in while your eyes were busy. Like, for example, when you're driving, you can't really read a book. If you're exercising and you're running outside, you can't. So it's become a global, huge, it's amazing that it started with 2 or 3 people around a kitchen table. Like, it's a classic kind of startup story. So
nice. Well, congratulations. How many people started it up?
Like 3, 4 of us. And
really?
Yeah, it was crazy. And I left Motorola, and my friend called me, and I said, well, how much can you pay me? He goes, we don't have any money. You're going to be getting equity. I go, what's equity? This is way before. It goes, it's the internet. I didn't have email. Like, this was so early on. It was a crazy decision, but I like taking risks. As an entrepreneur, you take hopefully calculated risks, and that turned out to be a good one. So,
wow. So, what's the part of the startup? How did you get it going? I mean, you have the idea, and then you started putting pieces together. Well, how'd that look?
Yeah, so if you think about Audible now, right, there's some really key components. One is content, right? You need the audio, you need the books. You needed a hardware device, like now you have smartphones, and you need fast internet speeds. When we first started, we had 0. When we first went to the book publishers, they thought we were nuts, right? And we said, hey, we're going to charge a lot less money than the cassette tapes because we're going to sell a lot of them. They didn't like that. They didn't want to piss off, the Barnes and Noble retailers. At the time, the internet speeds were maximum AOL, 28.8. You've got mail. So, and then there was no hardware. There was no smartphones or iPods. So we had to develop our own piece of hardware. It was crazy, but we wound up getting involved with, the first step is getting money. And we were lucky enough to have some very strong board members that were very connected with the VC industry in Silicon Valley. And they were making investments in Amazon, Apple, us, Netscape. So, we wound up getting out with an incredible group of investors and companies. We kind of all built the internet ecosystem together. It was wonderful, but it was really, really hard.
Wow. It's funny that you say that. I'm involved in something like that right now. It is harder than it looks. That's why I kind of asked the question.
Yeah. If in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have joined. It was that great. It was that insane, but
Oh, that's crazy. Talking about your Audible startup, what was the hardest thing you had to do?
Keeping mentally strong because there were days and months of just utter, this is impossible. We're, trying to push a heavy rock uphill and it keeps on coming down on your head. So mental strength was it, because every day there was 1 or 2 just seriously, like you thought you had it figured out. And I've been an entrepreneur for pretty much 30 years now, and I've done 8 different companies, and I keep on thinking, I finally figured it out. But it's unbelievable. Every day, still my current thing and all my past. It's tough being an entrepreneur. It's exhilarating, but it is tough.
I agree. It's tough. We do multifamily. It's tough. It's tough, 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 tough.
Yes.
What is explain one of those hard times that you've had and how you got over it.
Well, you're one of them. You can't make payroll, right? That's always not a good thing, and it's
It's always not a good
right,
thing.
and payroll at say it's Wednesday, and payroll is Friday at noon, and you have no money, and you owe 30 people a lot of money. That's not a good day. So you have to go back to your VCs and hopefully not get screwed over, because they're nice people, friendly, but they're in a business too, and they can smell desperation. So you have to get bridge loans. So those are the hardest times, when as you get bigger and you have to add people and the business is still not there and the cash flow is still not there. The average person who's kind of living paycheck to paycheck doesn't really care about your how much equity you have in the future.
Yeah, that's true too. And yeah, I like what you said. I could feel it in your voice when you said they can smell fear or smell desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means that they want more of your equity, right?
Exactly. And they got, and it's not necessarily a fair negotiation at that point, because the power has switched over to them. So, but
Yeah.
again, but without the VCs, you can't make it either, right? So it's a love-hate relationship.
Now, VCs, explain what a VC is, venture capital.
Yeah. So basically, they take a chance and invest, say, $1 million. Say you have an idea and you need $1 million just to get going. So they might get, so the value of the company with zero sales and a PowerPoint presentation is probably worth zero, right? But if they take $1 million and if they take 100% share, then why are you even there? So they realize that there's some number in the future that they're going to get to. So you might be $1 million for 10%. So you might be worth $10 million just for having a pretty PowerPoint. Now, and again, it always comes down to, when you need more money, which you always will, what's the next guy going to pay? And if you haven't made significant improvements in the, say, 3 to 6 months, and that next VC or the follow-on VC saying you haven't done squat, I'm only going to give you a $5 million valuation. The person that put in at 10 million got their investment cut in half. So it's an incredible dance, and it's an art. It's not a science. There is no mathematical formula that says what you're really worth. Until somebody buys you, you're not worth anything.
What did you end up selling Audible for?
$300 million.
In what year?
2007.
Nice. Nice. Oh, dude. Yeah,
Now,
that
again,
is
sounds like a big number. We raised so much money over time, and we got diluted incredibly. So, lovely number, nice hit, but I'm not on some giant yacht right now either. So
that's the part that people don't understand. They see 0 to 300 million, but they don't know the path you had to get there.
Fascinating, but absolutely exhausting. So
exhausting is the word you want to say. It's tough. It is tough. But
and
I'm
so dumb. I've done 7 other startups since. So they're all exhausting, but exhilarating too. So
exhausting. What's one you're working on right now?
So now I'm the CEO. I started a company called Halo Therapy Solutions. So I don't know if you or your audience is familiar with salt rooms or salt caves, but people sit in them to breathe better if they have asthma, allergies, seasonal things. We combine with infrared saunas for detoxification recovery, also with red light booths. So it's getting very, very big, and we sell a lot to small spas, giant hospitality resorts. Most of the gym chains are now adding it, tanning salons. The whole world is getting into holistic preventive wellness. And because of COVID, which was a respiratory condition, a virus and disease, caused diseases, people are using our technology incredibly in the last 3 to 4 years.
Nice. So, you don't set them up. You just sell them
Yeah,
the
we sell
products.
them 90 to 95% to businesses, and they're pretty easy to install. And about
So
5 or 10.
you don't need tech to install this stuff.
No, it's very easy. It's kind of like Lego or IKEA, kind of easily set up. And we
Awesome.
also sell to a bunch of homes too. Like we call them wealthy healthies, people that are really committed to their own personal health. They have really nice homes. So people who got less diluted than me, they have big homes.
Less diluted than we have big homes. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that term, less diluted. I hate to laugh, but I can feel your pain in something like we got
Yeah.
something we're doing right now. We'll talk to you afterwards, but yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Um, what is one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome? What is the thing that the biggest hurdle that you hurdled?
Say that again. What's the biggest hurdle?
What's the biggest hurdle you've hurdled?
What's the biggest hurdle I've hurdled? That's a good question. Um,
Was it in Audible or was it in a different?
Audible for sure, because there was just so many technology content. But it was the beginning of the internet. Nobody even knew nobody even knew how to log on to there were hardly any websites. I mean, Amazon, I think was at the time was 2 pages of 20 books. That was
Yeah.
Jeff. It was so early. Um, but I always find like the biggest hurdle is just people, right? Making sure you have the right people in the right jobs, figuring out how to motivate them. And again, it takes a special person to move from a big company to a small company, where cash flow literally every month is a challenge. So and you got to just keep motivating them to believe in the future and have a little bit of sacrifice. And it's not a 9 to 5 job. I mean, everybody that works for me works remote because I wanted to make sure I got the best people in the world. I have 30 people that work for me in about 10 different countries. I didn't want to have to ever go into an office again and only hire people from 10 miles away. But I'm trying to motivate people that are remote. This was way before COVID when I started the company, before there were, remote work was more common. So again, that's the biggest hurdle, trying to find the right people, keep them motivated, especially when, there are daily, monthly cash challenges always, no matter how good you are, how fast your business is growing, because the more your business grows, and we've been unbelievably successful, it takes more cash to buy more inventory, to invest in technology, hire more people. So you're always behind, if you will. You're ahead and behind at the same time.
Yeah. So leading a team I know is challenging. What is your leadership style? And can you give some examples how it help you through the tough spots?
Yeah, I would say, like growing up, like my first job was, with GE and Motorola, literally 40 to 45 years ago. See, I look young because of my red light and halo therapy. But in those days, most of my managers or leaders were just tough generals, cursing you out, like just brutal, right? And that was and it was not very motivating, but that was kind of like the environment. So I never wanted to be like that. On the other hand, I don't want to be Mr. Softy and give everybody a trophy either for mediocre work. So I've always tried to find the balance between tough but fair. That's kind of my leadership style. And I also hated when people were, again, kind of dichotomy of, people that micromanaged me down to the, detail. I hated. And people that were so vague above me that I didn't know what they wanted to do. So I try to have a good balance between, not micromanaging and not being an asshole, so that's kind of my strategy. Let people, I hire the best, I train them, I give them a lot of rope. And, I always hire people hopefully smarter than me in certain functional areas. I don't, and I'm kind of like the grand conductor, but I let people drop, I want other entrepreneurs that feel like they're running their own segment of the business. So.
Okay, cool. Um, what is there any books or podcasts, something that you saw that was a real game changer for you?
Say that one more time.
So is there any books or podcasts that was a a game changer for you?
As far as who I admire or listen to, you mean?
Well, so something that changed your trajectory.
Um, Not really. I was talking to somebody actually this morning about how I've always been the person that takes the road less traveled, right? So I always take, not always, I many times take calculated risks as far as career, and most of them have worked out. Some haven't worked out, but that's how I got over to Japan. You know, 40 years ago with Motorola. Yeah, so I've always done some unique things, and that I kind of pride myself on taking risks when other people choose safe.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Risk is reward.
Yeah, and then Motorola was
Without
interesting because I was always like the crazy marketing guy at Motorola, who was a very strict engineering company, and they kind of they made me into kind of an intrapreneur, which is an entrepreneur inside a big company. So they always gave me these impossible jobs with no money and no people, and they sent me to China for 3 years and said, "Go figure out China." I'm like, "What does that mean?" And I showed up, didn't speak a word of Chinese, didn't know how to use chopsticks, and figured it out. So that really helped prepare me to become an entrepreneur. The advantage of an entrepreneur, you have Motorola's name and money. So no matter how much you screw up, there's a safe landing. With entrepreneurship, there's no net. So it's a lot riskier.
Yeah, that makes that agreed wholeheartedly. Um, what is one of the what if someone wanted to get good at what you do? What
Mm.
advice would you give them?
Yeah, that's a
I
good
don't give you
question.
easy questions.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. All right. So first of all, you have to have some of it can't be taught. You have to have an
That's a good point.
innate thirst for learning and a pretty high tolerance for risk and have enough um, netting. Okay, I didn't have a lot of netting, but I had enough money and friends and contacts where if things had failed or ever failed, there's an escape hatch I could get to, right? So I don't ever recommend people quitting their $100,000 a year job, opening up a lemonade stand, and think they're going to make me like I give a lot of cautious advice to people that they should really try to, if they're going to do a business, start it on the side and go slow. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, I think kind of like what I said before about my experience at Motorola, being an entrepreneur prepared me for being an entrepreneur. I think before anybody jumps into the crazy world of entrepreneurship as kind of a owner or startup founder, they should probably go work for two or three other ones first just to get their feet wet and learn a lot of the ropes. So
Good call. Good call. Did you have any advice on when people, I get this question a lot. When should I quit? When should I quit my 9 to 5 to do what I'm doing? Or doing what you're doing in your side hustle?
yeah, and again, it comes down to two things. One is how great an idea it really is, and don't be delusional. Make sure you ask friends, families, and enemies who won't just give
That's
you
family.
right, who won't just tell you, yeah, that's the smartest idea in the world. So get hard, and then I would do some tests first, to make sure there really is. Like you may have the greatest idea, but it may not be people may not be willing to pay that price, and you may not be able to create it financially well. So you need a really well thought out business plan that gets reviewed by experts. So, and then again, I always kind of, like I said before, I always try to recommend people don't leap, take small steps and try to do two things simultaneously, your corporate job and this other job before you really can get traction, So they always say that in a startup world, 50% of your money is wasted, but the problem is you don't know which 50% it is, right? Of what you're doing. So it's just, it's tough, like I said before.
I agree wholeheartedly. I try and give people coaching on, they say, when should I quit? When should I quit? I said, when your side hustle is making more than your income,
Exactly. That's good math. That's
right?
really good math. Yep.
Because if you can only put 20 to 30 hours if you're working your butt off over your 40-hour job, right?
Well said. Well said. And that's the other
So
important thing too.
if
That's
you're doing
another.
twice as much as you're making on your thing, that's the time. But until then,
Yeah.
until that pivotal point, if you're making 100,000, you make 101,000, then you do it.
Yeah, well said. And the other thing, like kind of your point was about going from 40 hours to 60 to 70. The one thing I've learned also, there's nothing more important than your health, right? If you start working 80,
Yeah,
90
a lot
hour
of people.
weeks, everybody will hate you, right? Your friends and family and your kids or dog. When your dog
Your
hates you,
body, your
your
body will hate you.
body's the worst, right? So yeah, take things slowly. You don't need to be, super wealthy in a year. Like, it's not going to happen anyway, and you don't want to be in a hospital counting your money either. So
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Health wise, I love what you said. Everybody hates you, your wife, your kids, your dog, and your body. Like
yeah,
when you're burning the candle at both ends, you're burning your candle at both ends.
for sure.
Yeah, I think me and you've got pretty much the same philosophy in life and in business, and I think we're just two different names on a piece of
Yeah.
paper because I'm from around Detroit too.
Hmm.
Um, Hey, listen, Steve, is there anything that you would encourage people to do? Here's it, instead of that one, let's do this over. I have found a new question, and this hit me hard when someone asked me this. Now you're at where you're at. If you knew everything you knew now, and you could go back to your 20-year-old self, what would you do different, and what would you do the same?
That's a great
Right?
question.
It's a tough one because there's a lot in there.
Yeah. If I knew how hard it was, I probably wouldn't have done it. Honestly,
I'm sorry to laugh, but I know that.
no,
And
it's
you're saying the truth.
yeah. But on the other hand, once you get addicted to the entrepreneur life, you can't go back. I think the quote is, I'd rather work 80 hours a week for myself versus 40 hours for somebody else. So, yeah, so I probably wouldn't have made the leap because it's way, way harder than people think or will tell you. So
I agree with that. Yeah, but I don't know about not doing it. I mean, the things that I would have done
oh no,
different.
I'm thrilled that I did it, but I'm just saying if I look back and I think, God, what was those first couple years at Audible like? What these other startups? What were they like? They're all like, oh my gosh, what am I getting? Like they're all hard, but they're exhilarating too. So, but you know,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Hey, listen, Steve, thanks very much for your time. This has been very enlightening. If anybody would want to talk to you, how would they get in touch with you? What would be
the
the
best way to
preferred
get in
method?
touch with me is email me at steve@halotherapysolutions.com.
Awesome. Well, if you want to talk to Steve, someone that started Audible and has a crazy entrepreneurial life, please contact him. And for everybody else, please like and subscribe. And any comments you have, just let them in there. We answer them as soon as we can. Steve, thank you very much for being on. I really do appreciate it.
Now, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. You asked great questions. That was great.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun, and I hate to say a lot of fun going through all the pain and agony of business, but it
Yeah.
really was. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.